Ball is away. It's an end-over-end wobbler. DeJuan Gross has the catch at the 40. Flag down. 45, 50, 45, 40. Into the 35.
Oh, come on. Oh, my goodness.
As the
dumbass, stupid
turn.
35.
This portion brought to you today by Dawn, the dishwashing liquid that takes grease out of your way.
Now you have to regain your composure.
Oh, you don't either.
Yes, you do.
And by Bold 3 detergent with built-in fabric
Our
softener.
defense coming out and giving up touchdowns on the first drive of the second half. I'm going to lose my mind if they do.
That is terrible.
Was that new or has that been in there?
No, that's always been in there.
Oh, I've never noticed it.
It's always been in there. It's time for the dumbass stupid turns.
What a story this is.
Yeah, it is. We have
Rudy.
Now
Rudy,
there was this
Rudy.
the other thing we talked about a couple months ago where you had people going around,
the college student football league.
Yeah, which terrible name. Though I would say that Project Rudy.
I like Project Rudy more than I like the other.
Well,
one.
I mean, it's more catchy for sure, but there's also an irony in it in that Rudy, famously a story about an underdog, a walk-on, making it the big time, is a project that would basically blow up the underdog and take them out of college football.
Yes, it would.
So Project Rudy.
And I'm going to tweet out real quick the link, the Dellinger story is the one that you read. So I'm going to tweet it out if you want to read it because it's pretty in depth and it has a lot of the stuff that obviously we're going to discuss.
But you have Smash Capital, a venture capital and private equity firm based in L.A., and 3 former Disney executives. Wow, Nick.
Nick's more of a DreamWorks guy.
I guess.
I mean, yes.
Well, isn't DreamWorks part of Disney?
No, they're different.
I thought they were.
When I
they do
hear
Shrek.
something like Disney executives, Project Rudy trying to get involved in football, like this can't be good.
Well,
it clearly isn't.
Let's read the story together, shall we? And find out.
But this is their plan, and they are taking it around to the various conferences. They've met with several athletic directors in the Power Four that would create a 70-team Super League for college football.
Yeah.
I'll read from part of Dellinger's story. Over the last 4 months, more than 25 athletic directors from power conferences were given a presentation on Project Rudy. Conference commissioners from the SEC, Big 12, and ACC had details from the model shared with them directly by the architects of the model. On top of that, former Notre Dame athletic director Jack Schwarbrick recently joined the team for Project Rudy.
That surprised me. I mean, when you see somebody like him who is involved, because like we are obviously in the end of days in terms of the current iteration of college football and college sports. And so we're going to get there. And like, I don't want to skip ahead, but I'm going to the very end of the story when somebody said, we're not ready for it. This was a Big Ten official. There has not been a tipping point yet. And then another official, this is from the SEC, said, will this happen eventually? Yes. It's all inevitable. And then Dellinger finished, so will this happen in 15 to 20 years? A chortle emanates from the other side of the line. Oh, no, the person said, much sooner than that. So I mention all that to get back to Schwarbrick. It's obvious that this is going to happen. The question is just when. The question is when. And so when I see him involved, that was... Because reading the story, I expected it to be another college student football league.
This is
story.
like the XFL of college football.
It seems sooner than maybe people wanted to or realized it could be in terms of when this could happen. When you get a powerful person like him involved.
But the difference is, and here's where the sticking point can be, because you're talking about venture capitalists.
Yep.
And reading from one of the quotes, this is from one high-ranking Big Ten school administrator saying the SMASH proposal, remember was it Smash Capital?
I hate the name of that, too.
It
sounds like a goofy startup.
Yeah.
Tech startup.
It does. It's like an app.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man, yeah, I joined Smash Capital.
It actually sounds like a chain of burger restaurants in Washington, D.C.
It sounds like something...
They do smash burgers.
Smash Capital.
And they're kind of average.
And they're kind of mid, yeah.
It sounds like something that Kent Roy would have come up with Ken Roy would
Ken
have come
Roy.
up with.
Oh,
Kendall Roy, yeah.
Kendall Roy.
Succession. What a show.
The smash proposal appeals to people because it helps with an immediate issue, said one high-ranking Big Ten administrator. But private equity usually wants a high rate of return and a high level of control. So the thing about this is an outside entity trying to bring all these forces together versus what if the schools just did it themselves? You know, what was one of your chief complaints about the bowl system?
That they're giving all of the revenue to the bowls.
Right. Yeah, that the bowl that you're allowing the bowls to put together the playoff structure or the
NCAA does it with all their other sports. They keep all the money to themselves, and yet in college football, they give the money away to the people in the weird jackets.
Exactly. And this is the same thing. I mean, you're bringing all you have to do is replace bowl games with venture capitalists. Now, one of the big differences, a venture capitalist can infuse a lot of money into these programs, as we are now seeing the House settlement coming to the table, and revenue sharing is out there. And this is where things get rather unique.
Should we mention what this is so people know, like, the idea? And by the way, I just got a message from someone who said that Jim Delaney is also consulting for Project Rudy. There is some serious teeth to this. So there's something else to go. So you're wondering, okay, so what is this? What is this? I'm reading from Dellinger. Project Rudy is built onto somewhat simple concepts to increase revenue from television networks and corporate sponsors. 1, arrange more games between power conference programs by eliminating all games against Group of 5 and FCS opponents, expanding the playoffs, and pitting blue blood powers more often against one another. 2, consolidate media rights of the 70 schools under one agreement instead of the current structure of 5 different packages, one for each power league and Notre Dame. So this is bringing all of them under the same roof, which is what we've thought for a while that this sport was moving to. They're only playing each other. And something that I have wondered about, and that is, why don't they just consolidate? Because then we wouldn't have to have conference realignment and lose West Coast football and gain a Big Ten with 18 teams. If everyone was negotiating as one, we could still have everything, but we don't. And so that's the 2 main things. And then there's a lot of other tentacles, but those are the 2 main things that they're trying to do here.
So basically, this is, and unlike some ideas where, the power conference schools would have their cake and eat it too by still playing FCS and Group of 5 opponents, this is saying, no, these are the 70 schools, and this is the Super League, and they're only playing each other.
Yeah.
So we're not going to have any more of this nonsense of playing, so-called lesser foes. Now, here is where one of the ideas in this idea, the Smash Capital. I think they should have just called it the Smash Capital Plan. It sounds better than Project Rudy.
Yeah, why
goofier than
Call it
Project
the Smash
Rudy.
League.
People hate Rudy and they hate Notre Dame. So why name it Project Rudy?
Well, but they hate Notre Dame, but they kind of like Rudy.
Yeah,
it was a good movie.
I do love the movie.
You got to give him credit.
Yeah, good movie.
Here's where things are interesting, because we have always talked about when it comes to. Oh no! Damn, Alec Boehm got thrown out.
I was like, did Smash Capital win already?
Alec Boehm just got back into the lineup. He has been struggling since getting hurt in August, and he just tried to stretch a single into a double and got thrown out at second. I'm rooting for Alec. But we've talked about promotion and relegation.
We have.
How, well, maybe you could do it where a team that's on the outside could maybe be on the inside. This plan actually has an element of that, but it's different. Here's what I mean.
Yeah.
So how the money would be distributed, it would not be equal. The Smash Capital Plan tiers the earners within the 70 schools.
Mm-hmm.
So tier 1 is the top 16 schools per revenue projections, and those folks would get, what they're saying is, from $130 million in year 4, escalating to $250 million by year 12,
Crazy.
Which right now is double what SEC and Big Ten schools. Those are the tier 1 schools, top 16. Then there's tier 2 within the 70 schools. Tier 2 is the next 22 schools who get revenues of between $60 and $110 million, which are similar to the current rates that the SEC and the Big Ten are doling out now.
Okay.
And then Tier 3, the final 32 schools, get projections of $30 to $60 million, which is similar currently to what the Big 12 and the ACC are doing. And, as Dellinger writes, the model offers a variety of ways to determine how to tier those schools. So you're saying, okay,
how does this work?
How are you tiering these schools? You're looking at previous season's results, perhaps an aggregate of results over a stretch of time. There's a model that also features a relegation and promotion system to pave a way for schools to move up and down tiers. So, for example, if let's say the Super League starts and you're a Tier 2 school, but let's say you have a run, of Alabamian-like success. Because of that success, you move up to Tier 2, and maybe someone who is in Tier 1 right now
falls down.
They fall down. So the tiers you're not relegating teams out of the Super League.
You're relegating up and down.
You're just moving them up and down in terms of an earning class. Tier 1, Tier 2.
Yeah, and real quick before you get to the other part of this, so they all are still under the same umbrella in terms of who's playing who.
Right. You're all competing against each other. You're all competing for the same championship. But promotion and relegation, unlike how it works in European soccer, isn't kicking a team out of a league and adding a team in. It's just moving people up and down the earning ladder.
Yeah.
Tier 1 earner versus Tier 2 earner versus Tier 3 earner.
Yeah.
So that's how it would work. There's also a proposed model that suggests having 8 permanent members of Tier 1, a move to placate the biggest brands in the sport. So if Ohio State and Michigan and Alabama say, whoa, if we run on hard times, there ain't no way that this brand is ever going to go down to Tier 2. There is a possibility that there could be some teams permanently locked into Tier 1 because of their brand.
Some comments. BMW says, Smash Capital sounds like EPL with promotion and relegation. Big Boys, Man City, and others make all the money while others try to climb. Yeah, certainly there is a large part of that. Doug, who you have had many debates with on college baseball season finishing in the summer, says this Super League idea of 72 teams is driven by the leagues that are not in the SEC and Big Ten that know they are about to be left out. Why would SEC and Big Ten teams make less money? This is why they will form their own league in 2031.
Well, now, you're right on the stand, because right now, the teams the conferences you need to talk into this, which is why the Delaney anecdote that you shared was rather interesting.
Yes.
Are the Big Ten and the SEC. Because right now, as it stands, the way things are trending, those two leagues could literally just go off on their own and do their own thing, be their own Super League, and leave everyone else in the dust.
And maybe invite some other schools
and
on
maybe
in,
invite some other schools in and still have the control. So Doug is right in that you are ceding control to these venture capitalists who are going to want certainly a return on investment, and commissioners like Petitti and Sankey wouldn't have as much power because a lot of their power is driven from the fact that they go out and negotiate those big-ass contracts for their leagues. Under this plan, the 70 schools are pooled together, and Smash Capital or whoever's running the boat, they're negotiating the contract with the television networks.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of power that they're giving away. Where Doug is maybe wrong here. Read the other.
Let's see. Why would the SEC and the Big Ten teams make less money? This is why they'll form their own league.
Well, according to the proposal, the money that they're saying that the schools can earn as the Tier 1 schools would go from $130 million in year 1 or year 4 to $250 million, which right now is double what the SEC and the Big Ten. So basically what they're pitching is, hey, everybody,
it's actually better for all of us to be together.
All of us being together and packaging this as one, we're going to make more money than you going out and doing it by yourself.
And for the record, I think I would agree with them on that. Like the SEC and the Big Ten, barring them inviting just a ton of their friends and getting up to a larger number anyway, the sport, and this would still cut off a large chunk of college football, the sport is better when it is a bigger tent. Because then you are in the Pacific Northwest. You're on the West Coast. You're in the Southwest. You're in Texas. You're in the Southeast. You're in the upper Northeast. You're in the upper Midwest. You're in the Midwest, the Plains. That's what makes college football special. I mean, on a smaller model in terms of teams, it's why the NFL is so valuable, because there are teams that dot the entire country. And so everyone can have an investment in the sport itself, even if you don't have a team that is directly in your area. And so I think that there would be more money to be had if everyone was under the same roof, because the sport still would have a large contingent of teams. Though I understand that would then be, more pieces of the pie. I do understand that. No,
I agree. So really what you're banking on is, hey, can this Project Rudy do a better job of negotiating than the Big Ten by itself, than the SEC by itself? So that's what you have to convince them of. And you also have to convince them that, they don't have as much control.
Yeah.
Because in this formula, the Big Ten would still exist. The SEC would still exist inside of the 70-team structure. But the autonomy of a lot of things that the Big Ten and SEC have would be ceded, namely the television rights. Because that's the thing that's holding all of this together.
Yeah.
It's not about,
it's not about regionality anymore.
It's not about regionality. It's not about making rules. It's not about academic requirements or anything.
No, it's about TV money.
It's about the TV money. That's where the power comes from.
And if you could lock everyone under the same umbrella and everyone's getting, a piece of the pie, some more than others, it's Animal Farm. All colleges are equal. Some are more equal than others. You know what you could do then? You could do some radical transformation and go back to old school conferences. And you could have Nebraska and Oklahoma and Kansas State, whatever, playing each other more often than, these weird hodgepodge ideas.